Friends.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. Landon Schmidt producing. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 2.5 hours this afternoon. A little bit of a shorter show. Today is Ole Miss baseball, the final week of the regular season. They're in action tonight against UT Martin. We'll have pregame and the full game for you, with that pregame starting at 5:30. First pitch scheduled for 6 o'clock. So a shorter show today, but a lot to discuss. But obviously, I have to start with the news that came out earlier this afternoon, the passing of Brandon Clark, age 29. That news coming out earlier today. DeMichael Cole first to report that, just heartbreaking news. So we'll talk a lot about that this afternoon, some other things to get to as well. But obviously, the big news and the really heartbreaking news of the day. So, Brett, I know it's not the way we like to start a show at all, but, good afternoon, and just really sad news today.
Brian, it is with really heavy hearts. A 29-year-old person gone way too soon, and with a lot of details we don't know, but we do know for his many fans and friends in this community and teammates, we know they are heartbroken, grief-stricken by this news. Brian, I talked so many times that we had gone so long in this market with this team without that big, screaming, ugly, tawdry headline. Today, it really takes the cake, and the circumstances we don't know, but a lot of speculation. But we're not going to do that. We're going to wait till we know more. But it doesn't sound good, and it hardly ever is when a 29-year-old is found deceased.
Yeah, no, the reports out there, are not great, and just really sad news. And so to have a player like that's been around this team for a while, one of the longest tenured players on the roster, so obviously has a lot of relationships with guys on the team, guys on different teams, and you're seeing those guys, start posting things and really had an impact on that locker room and guys that have been in this organization, and also on the fan base. What he did in the community, what he did with the kids in the area. I mean, he touched a lot of people while he was here, and so definitely just heartbreaking news that he's no longer with us. And like you said, still a lot of unknown, and still reporting being done, and people trying to figure out what happened. But just heartbreaking news.
On the court, you think about it, in his years with the Grizzlies, when he was healthy and when he was contributing, the Grizzlies were always better.
Yeah, no, I had someone text me earlier today and said that he called him Mr. Reliable, because whenever he was on the court, he was doing some good things when he was healthy.
He made
for the
good things happen.
Sure, and so a nice piece to his team. Obviously, injuries have been the real battle for him over the last couple of years, and there was a lot of hope that he could get back to a point, going into next year where he could be back on the court and make an impact. But, over these really last 3 years, has just been so limited on the court. And, for that to happen, I'm sure, what that could do to a person, and then for this to ultimately happen, just, praying for his family, praying for the team and all those guys that have been around him for all these years.
You just never know what somebody else's struggle might be. And in 29 and playing in the NBA, we can't relate to that. I sure can't. He was marvelously talented and a real contributor on some good, fun teams and times. And now with this story today, and more details will emerge, and the news will be out there. But today is not one for a lot of rank speculation.
No, definitely not. So, it's just one of those days where, it really hits you how short life is. And, tell people you love them, hug people. I mean, it really is. It can be taken just like that. And so, just heartbreaking news to really start the day and, start our show. It's never easy when this type of stuff is out there.
It's not. And now, what time did you get the news? First time I saw it kind of in any public realm was 12:45, 1 o'clock or so.
I think that's around the time it was starting to be reported by, actual people.
Yeah. What time do you think he actually died?
I've heard different things.
Last night, this morning, West Coast in LA, is that accurate?
In LA, it sounds like at some time yesterday, it sounds like it was kind of a wellness check type of situation for him. So,
Gotcha.
You're talking about yesterday, who knows, maybe earlier. It really sounds like it was one of those things where people just hadn't heard from him and asked for somebody to go check on him. And then it was just the horrific news. And so, yeah, I mean, I know there was rumors going around this morning about it before it was ultimately reported by anybody. So, I don't know exactly when the Grizzlies found out about this, but it sounds like at some point early in the morning, late last night, at some point the Grizzlies got this news and had to figure out the right way to handle the situation.
Well, they've got some tough days ahead of them, and his closest family, or his family and his closest friends, they sure do.
No, they definitely do. So definitely prayers out to his family, to this entire Grizzlies organization, because never easy when something like this happens, and really, really unthinkable for something like this to happen. So, it's going to be a tough off season with this news, and
it is.
It's just really, really hard news to take for an organization, especially one like the Grizzlies, where he's been a guy that, when you're starting to unload players and you're starting to go into a new era, he's a guy that's been around since the 2019-2020 season. There are very few of those type of guys still on this roster, so that makes it even worse.
Has it been confirmed that he was in Los Angeles?
Yes, I believe so. I believe that's what the reporting I saw is that it was the L.A. Police Department that was the first on the scene to check him out. So it does sound like he was in L.A. And then we'll wait and see what officially the cause of death is, because nothing official has been put out quite yet. So we'll definitely let you know when and if we get any more news on that situation. But kind of all that breaking over the last couple of hours, and obviously a very evolving story, and we will continue to get more information about it, I'm sure.
It is. We will talk about other things. If we get more information, we will pass it along. Last night on the court in the NBA, what was that? Was that it in Lakerland for LeBron?
Yeah, that's a good question. Obviously now a free agent, and certainly a lot of speculation. And
real free agent for the first time, really, in his career.
That's right. And so there's a lot of unknown now, and it felt like there were a lot of people that came out of that game last night with that thought of, it felt like I was watching the last game of him as a Laker. And so time will tell what he ultimately decides. I don't think he's done for good. I think he's going to be playing somewhere next year. But the question will be, where is it? Will it be LA again? Will it be somewhere else? Has he gotten to a point in his career where he says, I'm going to go somewhere and maybe take I know this is crazy to say with LeBron James, but maybe take a pay cut and just try to ride it out and be on the best possible team I can be on for my last year or two in the league? There's a lot of questions, and obviously he'll go and talk with his people, and who knows what this offseason will look like for him.
Last night, his comments about whatever option that he is on the floor, he's not the primary option anymore. He still can be a big contributor, very formidable player. But today, like everybody, the day after, have the getaway press conference, and Rob Pelinka and J.J. Redick on the stage together being questioned. It looked like they were being questioned by a grand jury.
Yeah, no, I mean it's LeBron James we're talking about, and so
and the Lakers.
Sure, it's a big time brand with a big time brand, and so obviously those questions are going to be thrown out there, and there's going to be a lot of speculation, and so it's a question we've talked about it a lot, where you have seen this kind of passing of the flag from LeBron James to Luka Doncic with the Lakers. He's clearly the star of the future, and so does that mean, does LeBron want to be kind of that second option in LA and have all those decisions be more geared to Luka, because everyone knows he is in his last days? Or does he want to go somewhere where it's maybe more comfortable for him? I don't know. It's going to be a big question.
It will be, and the Lakers were smart. Anybody would be, to try to acquire Luka Doncic like they did, but they were smart and right to do it, because they had to start planning for the future. And I bet in their heart of hearts they knew that the future, that period between when they got Luka, and right now they weren't going to win anything. Well, 2 years they weren't going to win it last year or this year with him, and probably weren't ever going to win it with option. But this is not all on LeBron, but they're more than a piece or two away with the Lakers. I don't think they have a great piece with Reeves.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big thing is if LeBron James does decide to go somewhere else, what does that mean for the Lakers? Obviously, that frees up a lot of cap space, and you can, go out there and do some different things to try to put together a more complete roster. The big question last year was at the center position. They go out there and get DeAndre Ayton, who was really good at times, not so great at other times. Yeah, so I mean, can you add some pieces that are more affordable and maybe add 2 or 3 instead of having that one big piece of LeBron James if he moves on? I do think, obviously, with the Lakers, there are plenty of players that would love to be a Laker. There are plenty of players that would love to play with Luka Doncic. So, I think they'll have options, and I think, they'll be able to, if LeBron James decides to go somewhere else, I think they'll be able to be a little creative and kind of try to put together a more complete roster that's centered around Luka Doncic.
Do you think the allure of being a Laker is what it once was?
I don't know if it's necessarily the allure of being a Laker, but I do think it is being a Laker still is worth, mixed with being in Los Angeles and kind of everything that comes along with that.
Everybody's got banks. The money's big everywhere.
It definitely is.
And unlike California, a lot of places on payroll day, who's Mr. FICA and why is he getting so much of my money?
Yeah, no, it's a good point. And so, yeah, I mean, I still think LA and the Lakers still have that allure. It's probably not as big as what it once was, but you're still talking about one of the biggest markets in the country and one of the biggest brands in all of sports. And I still think it talks big. And again, I'm not talking about go out there without LeBron James and go sign Kawhi Leonard. It's hey, go out there and maybe get a smaller piece here, guys that are more affordable and aren't really playing the market of I have all of these suitors and I'm going to go where what's best for me. You try to go out there and say what's best for us, what's best for Luka Doncic, and try to be kind of creative with these with this money if you have it if LeBron leaves.
Notwithstanding the horrible news today. But if the Lakers are that many pieces away, we know, when we talked about it yesterday, just because of the good news out of Sunday, it's still going to be a while. If the Lakers are that many pieces away, think how many pieces away other teams are. The teams that were in the lottery, teams like New Orleans.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely in the Western Conference, it is really tough. And so, yeah, even when you look at a team with LeBron and with Luka, to see that team was still so far off and to be swept. And obviously, Luka didn't play. He would have made a difference if he was out there. I don't know how much of a difference, but, it would have been a little different. But, yeah, I mean, there are teams that are way, way, way far away. The Grizzlies are one of them. Those other lottery teams are in that mix. It's going to be a long process to try to get into the position where, you're looking at the Thunder and the Spurs and some of these other teams at the top of this Western Conference. It can't happen overnight. It's not going to.
And for Memphis and other teams, I don't think you can just draft your way out of it.
No, I mean, you got to be creative. It's got to be a mix. You look what San Antonio did. They've gotten very lucky with some draft picks, but to go out there and get a guy like De'Aaron Fox, some of those other guys that they've acquired through free agency and through trades, they have a very complete team. Even Oklahoma City, as much as we talk about, their draft capital and what they've done in some of these drafts, SGA, you get him in a trade. Nobody thought when that trade happened that SGA was going to turn into what he is today. Isaiah Hartenstein, you go out and get him in free agency. Alex Caruso. This roster up and down. Jared McCain was the big trade in the season that has worked out for them, and he has been awesome throughout the playoffs. So, it can't just be the draft. Look at the Washington Wizards and where they're at right now. They have tried to rely on the draft, and they've gotten some really nice pieces. They're still picking in the lottery. Now, can some of these trades that they made last year help them get out of that? It's got to be all of draft, free agency, trades. You got to be creative. You've got to go out there and use every single aspect that you can use. And you're seeing teams that do that. They're having a lot of success with it. So the Grizzlies, some of these other teams, they've got to do that as well.
If last night was it for LeBron, he never plays another second for the Los Angeles Lakers, answer this question for me. Was his Laker experience successful? Yes or no?
Certainly not in terms of on the court. I mean, when you talk about only one ring and it was the bubble ring, that's certainly not what everyone thought they were going to get when LeBron James announced he was
going to
the Lakers. It definitely is. So no, I would.
Jersey sales probably wouldn't have been as big, but
right, yeah. I mean, obviously having LeBron James helps in a ton of ways, off of the court. But the Lakers, it doesn't matter as much to them as maybe some of these other markets around the country. But yeah, I mean, everyone was talking when he got there of we're talking 2, 3, 4. How many rings will the Lakers get with LeBron James in the court? I think he got close to it. If he didn't, everybody else did, because that was all the talk around him when he went to the Lakers, especially having AD and what they could do together with the Lakers, and to only get that one, it's definitely got to be a little bit of a disappointment.
They will do it for his prominence, and they can fill in the bullet points with the janky bubble title. Mm-hmm. And when he was a Laker, he did pass Kareem, his all-time leading scorer. There's no way his number should be retired, though, but they're going to.
Oh, they will. I mean, it's LeBron James. When you're talking about one of the greatest players of all time, it's going to be one of those things that it'll happen at all the spots.
Is he really top 10 Laker?
It's a good question. We just talked about what he did on the court.
If he is, it is closer to 10 than it is to 5.
No, I probably agree with that. But when you talk about LeBron James, that's going to be one of those where every place he's played for, no matter if he retires today or if we're going forward, it's going to be a clean sweep.
And the first legitimate critique of that comment I just made is, well, Brady, he was doing it at advanced age. Well, yeah, that's when they got him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
but they were selling just like new.
Sure, no, that's right. And so, I think there can be a lot of discussion about his legacy just as a LA Laker. But we've got a lot to discuss this afternoon, so let me set it up before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Robert Miller, the new executive director of the FedEx St. Jude Championship. He'll join us. We'll talk a lot about the FedEx St. Jude Championship. We'll also talk some golf in general with him, kind of get to know Robert Miller as we're getting really excited for the tournament this year as it continues to kind of slowly creep up on us. It'll be here before we know it, so we'll do some golf talk in our next segment. 3:45, we'll talk about the lottery, the Grizzlies at number 3, the Combine. It got started yesterday with all of the measurements. Now a lot more stuff going on today as we're getting a lot of drills taking place today, some interviews over on ESPN2 with some of the top guys. So we'll talk about the Grizzlies at this number 3 pick. Who are those options? Who could they be looking at? Who could they take at that number 3 spot? 4 o'clock, Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville. We'll talk with him. We'll talk a lot of college football with Brent, but also Brent, as he covers college basketball in the SEC and the ACC, saw both these guys that the Grizzlies could potentially draft at number 3. So we'll probably get his thoughts on both Caleb Wilson and Cam Boozer. 4:30, we'll talk about the NBA playoffs. We'll discuss both of those games last night. The late night game, the Lakers complete the sweep 4-0 in Los Angeles. The first game, though, the Cavaliers even the series 2 apiece with a 112-103 win over the Pistons. Donovan Mitchell, just an incredible performance for the Cavaliers. So we'll talk about all of that. We'll also preview tonight's game, only one game on NBC, Minnesota and San Antonio, as that series also tied 2 apiece. 4:45, we get the big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Bo Marchand. He'll join us to talk the NFL. There'll be a lot of talk, a lot of news out there from the NFL, but also we're getting a lot of scheduling news as the official schedule reveal is Thursday night. Brett has us covered as our correspondent for that, but a lot of leaks and
it's all going to be out by Thursday.
That's right. I mean, it feels like it's all already out, but we'll talk some of these scheduling news with Bo Marchand at 5 o'clock. We'll talk with Bo about 19 minutes or so. Then we'll get to an early Humdinger's crunch time because, again, we're out a little early this afternoon. 5:30, we'll have the pregame Ole Miss and UT Martin for that first pitch at 6 o'clock. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Summer is right around the corner. It's time to get those backyards ready for the ultimate pool party. Above-ground pools starting at $39.99 installed and in-ground pools starting at just $49.99. All in-stock patio furniture is priced to move. 5-piece patio furniture sets starting at just $999, and outdoor sectionals starting at just $12.99. Free umbrella and base with select patio furniture sets, and those hot tubs, they're starting at $34.99 with swim spots starting at just $16,999. Special financing is available, and if you mention this ad, get $200 off any pool or spa purchase. So many great deals. So head out there to Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
And we'll remind everyone that officially right now, no cause of death concerning Brandon Clark. When we get that, we'll sure pass it along, but we do not want to speculate. He's Brian. I'm Brett, our producers, Landon Schmidt. We're Sports Time. We're with you until 5:30. We want you to be with us by texting or calling 901-360-8255 at the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. Your thoughts on the life and the career as a Memphis Grizzly for Brandon Clark, the only NBA team that he ever played for was right here in Memphis. Let us know how you're feeling. We're live and local from our Family Leisure Studios in this hour every day, and we're always from our Family Leisure Studios in this hour every day, brought to you by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2026 models and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, and that's where you can put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2026 flagship LS500, and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it is the heartbreaking news that was reported earlier today. DeMichael Cole with the story over at the Commercial Appeal that Brandon Clark has passed away at age 29. The cause of death is unknown right now. Again, we will let you know once that is official. Obviously, don't want to speculate on anything as nothing yet official. The Grizzlies put out a statement after the passing, said, quote, "We are heartbroken by the tragic loss of Brandon Clark. Brandon was an outstanding teammate, an even better person whose impact on the organization and the greater Memphis community will not be forgotten. We express our deepest condolences to his family and loved ones during this difficult time." Commissioner Adam Silver also issued a statement saying, quote, "We are devastated to learn the passing of Brandon Clark. As one of the longest tenured members of the Grizzlies, Brandon was a beloved teammate and leader who played the game with enormous passion and grit. Our thoughts and sympathies are with Brandon's family, friends, and the Grizzlies organization." Just heartbreaking news out there. And when you talk about a guy that has been around since the 2019-2020 season, you're talking about a guy that has made an impact on a lot of different guys in this locker room. We know how close he was to Jaren Jackson Jr., was in Jaren's wedding, if I remember correctly. So you're starting to see a lot of his teammates start posting things and talking about how much he means to them. So, when you're talking about this Grizzlies organization, with all the changes we've seen over the last couple of years, he was one of those constants that you knew was going to be around. And so it's just heartbreaking. Obviously touched his teammates, but touched so many in the community. And so really, really sad news today. And again, we'll keep you updated on if any news comes out over the next couple of hours.
That is the top story, and I'll go back again to through the years when the Grizzlies had a good team kind of making runs and winning 50-plus games. He was primary. He was involved in that. He was never the primary player, but he was always a great contributor, did a lot of the little things really well, did a lot of the big things really well, and gone too soon at 29. And I go back to through all the years with whatever we've been through with the team, we've never had to go through this until today, and it is overwhelming.
Yeah, no, it really is. It is really sad news. And he was, like you said, the impact, he was one of those players that didn't really need the attention on him. He just went out there, worked, did his job, and really made an impact on the court for sure.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, the Combine, it got started yesterday. We talked a lot about the measurements that were coming out of some of these top guys in the draft, but today we're seeing more on-court workouts and testing being done with a lot of different numbers coming out. AJ DeBonza wowing with a 42-inch vertical. You knew that he had that in him, but some other really impressive numbers. Darren Peterson shooting the ball looked really, really good, and even Shams Charania reporting that Darren Peterson sees himself as a point guard in the NBA, and so maybe being a guy that we see long-term, as a on-ball type of player, as a primary option in an offense for a team. It feels like those two are going to be the guys at number 1, number 2. What does that mean for the Grizzlies? It feels like two names are the hot names out there. It's one from North Carolina, one from Duke, those schools that have always been linked, that rivalry that is so strong, and it sounds like the third pick will come down, and we'll see which side of the rivalry the Grizzlies ultimately decide to take. Now, we'll see scrimmages and a lot of other things tomorrow. Obviously, these top guys won't be playing at that, but the Grizzlies also have the 16th pick and the 32nd pick, so there's still a lot of other players to look at, positions to look at with this draft, and we could see the Grizzlies being extremely busy over the next month, especially when we get closer to the draft, see if they move off some of those picks, try to move up, try to move back. This front office has shown that they like to do that. We'll see if they do it again this year.
Brian, I want to be really careful on my not top story, really careful, because everything today could fall in the way too soon category. But when I somewhat and rhetorically of exact, and it really doesn't matter where Cook is sad, but it was LA, right?
That's what it sounds like, yes.
With the battering that we've taken in Memphis in the PR world over the last few months by various players, I'd give anything if it didn't have to happen anywhere for Brandon Clark at 29 years old. But can you imagine how some would be running with this if it had been in a downtown flat condo, out east, midtown, wherever? How some would have treated this, and this is why a lot of those out there back off.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, and so you hate to hear that news, but you're right. It's unfortunate, but I do think if it was something that happened here, and again, the reporting is saying that it was in LA. If it was something here, there would be some sick people out there that would try to twist that into a narrative against the city, against the organization. So definitely really, really sad news. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's get to our first break, and when we return, we're going to talk some golf. We're going to talk about the FedEx St. Jude Championship. The executive director, Robert Miller, he joins us next.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Listen up, Rebel fans. Your next winning drive starts at Landers Ford in Collierville. Their game plan is simple. Find you the most savings possible. Make a trade, lower your payments, or let them buy your vehicle even if you don't buy from them. That's how you keep moving the chains. Just like the Grove on game day. Fans all across the Mid-South keep coming back to the #1 Ford dealership in Greater Memphis. See them today in Collierville or online at LandersFordMemphis.com. When you own a Landers Ford, you get the support of a certified service tech with the Landers Ford Remote Service Experience Program. They pick it up, drop it off, or fix it on the spot, so you're never left watching from the sidelines. To finish the drive, the iconic Landers Easy Pass always brings more for your trade and the biggest discounts to put you in victory formation. And now, straight from the 1977 Ole Miss football team that took down #1 ranked Notre Dame, the final snap of the day from Landers Ford President Don Kitchens.
If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2024 Total New Vehicle Retail Sales Report, Memphis Market.
I have solved one of life's great puzzles.
That seems really unlikely.
I have.
Okay, what puzzle?
What to give people as wedding presents when they're out of town.
It's not that big of a puzzle.
Oh, yeah? What would you do?
I would ship them some yummy Central Barbecue. So what were you going to say?
Ship them some yummy Central Barbecue? Because they have great packages.
Yeah, like the ribs pack, the pulled pork pack, even the combo pack.
This is all stuff that I was going to say.
I know. You're always going to go to the Central Barbecue well.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
Oh no, I dropped my lip balm in the water. I can't think of anything worse than the looming threat of potentially having chapped lips. It was ginger vanilla too, my favorite flavor.
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive, so you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
Ken Garland, you are in your 72nd year of business. Your son William is now joining you. What do you think is the key to your longevity in the building business?
My dad started the business in 1965, and I think being on the job sites daily and being accessible to homeowners has been a key to our success.
You guys have a work ethic, as you like to say. You're not hiring people to be on the site. You guys are there every day.
We interact with the subcontractors multiple times a day on each job site. I think that has been a key, as well as using the same subcontractors 20 plus years in most cases.
When you talk about materials, what is the first thing you're thinking about when somebody comes to you to build a home?
We're just trying to meet the expectations of the client and the homeowner and the architect and give them what their dream is.
When you get a Ken Garland home, what do you guarantee?
We'll be there after the job is finished. We're still accessible to all our clients.
Now I need to know, how do I get a hold of Ken Garland?
You can reach us at kengarland.com.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon, T-Dot's trying to untangle a couple of accidents out here. It's trying its best to get a little bit busy over here on I-40, coming past Danny Thomas, working your way on the I-40 bridge over in McQuitman County in the West Memphis. Trying to get south of Memphis here in the last few minutes. We've seen some radar. They're trying to be sneaky down through there at times on 55 throughout certain parts of DeSoto County. Hey, don't let a slipping transmission make things worse in your car or truck having transmission problems. Come to Amco Transmissions, 2 locations right here in the Memphis area. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and we've got to talk some golf. Before too much longer, we're all going to be out at the FedEx St. Jude Championship later this year, and joining us now, the new executive director of the FedEx St. Jude Championship, Robert Miller. Robert, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to talk about, obviously, with you taking over at this position. Tell us a little bit about you. I was seeing that you 20 years of experience, NBA, NHL, WNBA, and by far my favorite, the USHL. So, Robert, thanks for joining us. Tell us a little bit about you and how you got here to Memphis.
Yeah, good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm honored to be a part of the show this afternoon. It's been a wild ride for my career. Cut my teeth in the NBA, worked for the New Orleans Hornets, was part of the team that got hit by Hurricane Katrina, was able to take that team up to Oklahoma City and kind of get that whole process started. Was one of the few people that took them back to New Orleans and kind of went back to New Orleans and carried the torch down with those for a couple of years. But with the way Chris Paul and David West and Tyson Chandler and those guys were playing, how could you not follow them? It was going to be good. Ended up working with the Florida Panthers for a couple of years, in the NHL. That is actually how I met the right people to get the opportunity for the USHL, so that all kind of connects. But, yeah, my career has kind of taken me all over the place. I've lived in about 7 different cities over the course of my career, and we found a home here in Memphis, Tennessee, working for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. It was great because when I was up at the USHL and I was the president of the hockey team, I got reached out to by the PGA Tour, and they were talking to me about, headquarters and where I wanted to go and, possible locations. And I said, well, I would love to go to Tennessee. And they were like, you want to go to Memphis? And I was like, absolutely. And they said, man, let us introduce you to Joe Tolmick. And so Joe Tolmick and I had a great conversation. Really, really enjoyed working with that guy and knowing him very well, and was honored to be able to come here and kind of represent, everything that I've been able to build in the sports career, bring it to Memphis, and then bring it to the St. Jude Championship. And, man, the FedEx St. Jude Championship over the past couple of years has been on a rocket ship, and we're just going to continue to carry that forward.
It really has been, Robert. Our crowds, our sales that you've been so primary in selling now as executive director, you're wearing every hat, but you've been wearing a lot of hats already. And what Jack Salmons does last year and the TV rating we've been getting, and we're going to do it again this August. And I know it's a fun sell for you. The linkage that the tournament has with the city, with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, the years on the PGA Tour, we're a mainstay. So I think nothing's easy in this market right now. We can get these gas prices down; that'd be a lot better. But I think it's a pretty easy sell for a lot of people. And we're going to have another great tournament out there this year, and I can hear it in your voice. You know what you're following. You know you're following Joe Tomic's very successful run. Our great friend Darrell Smith, the great Phil Cannon, all the way back to the Dwight Drinkard and Joe Trepo and Vernon Bell and all the people in the history of this tournament. I can tell, and I've been told that you know, and you accept the responsibility.
Absolutely. I tell you what, you are right. The tournament itself's been around for so long. And the other day I was at a meeting with a bunch of business people, and just the history of golf in this city is just a lot of people outside of Memphis don't really realize how big the golf world here is in Memphis. And so, when you start talking about the history of the tournament and how many years this thing has produced, and just what we've been able to accomplish in the last couple of years and kind of making it bigger, that's the story we tell every day. I mean, it's every day we are sitting in front of people, business people in this city, and we are telling them and teaching them about the history of this tournament, where it's been, where it's gone, and where it has the potential to go. And a big thing of that is our donation back to St. Jude. I mean, if you look at it, over the course of the life of the tournament, us giving money to St. Jude, I think we're right at $89 million total. Wow. Is what we've given back to St. Jude. In the last 2 years alone since I've been here, we've given $16 million to St. Jude. So if you look at that, a huge chunk of that $90 million has come just over the last 2 years. And that's our connection with AllSAG, our connection with St. Jude, our connection with FedEx. But I think we're really starting to kind of understand the algorithm, how to really grow this thing organically from the Memphis area. And I tell you, one of the things that Joe Tomic, when he brought me in, he looked at me and said, hey, we're about a 60-40 split between companies from outside of Memphis coming to this tournament compared to Memphis-based companies supporting the tournament. And he said, I want to even that up. I want that to get to around 50-50. And within 2 years, we actually grew our outside business, but we have grown our Memphis business, Memphis support so much in the last 2 years, we have literally leveled that out to be a 50-50 playing field, to where we have just as many businesses supporting our tournament as we do outside of Memphis. And so that is a really big accomplishment for the staff here with the FedEx St. Jude Championship. That is something we put our best foot forward to, is to really go out, hit the ground running, go get in front of people, shake as many hands as possible, tell the story that we're trying to tell about the PGA Tour being here in Memphis, how big this tournament is, winning the first round of the FedEx Cup playoffs, how big it is for a company like FedEx, the home of FedEx. I mean, FedEx, their global homes own hole number 5. The fact that St. Jude is a, international brand, and we're able to be one of the top, giving units and philanthropic arms for that organization. I mean, there is such a good story to tell. How can you not get excited to tell it?
Robert, if they would extend the out-of-bound markers a little bit, the worldwide headquarters could actually be in play on a couple of holes.
I'll be honest with you. I think I've hit it a couple times playing out there. So I tell everybody that plays with me. They all look at me. They're like, "Hey, you want to play?" And every now and then I'll get out a chance to play. But I tell everybody I can sell golf. I can't play it. So I've definitely had a ball thrown back over the fence to me from somebody that works with FedEx. So it happens all the time.
Just yesterday, y'all had a release on ticketing and pricing, really for all points. It's one of my favorite things. Look, if you just want to buy a badge, walk around, go get a corn dog or a beer and a Coke or whatever, you can. If you want to sit in really great seats and everything in between those two, you can. Yesterday, you had that release. Tell our listeners about the pricing.
Well, I'll tell you what, me and a young lady named Nikki Payne, who works on our operations side, we put our heads together with Joe Tomic a couple months ago and really and truly decided to come up with something that the fans kind of drove. Last year, we actually put a lot of value into our fan survey. And so our fan survey, I mean, in real time, we get real data back from them. And, it's 95 degrees, it's hot. They can put any kind of review, any kind of feedback they want on there. Last year, our net promoter score was 71. We were the highest on tour. That means of any PGA Tour event that had this net promoter score opportunity, we were the highest grade. I mean, higher than Players Championship, higher than Tour Champ, higher than a lot of the events out there. And one piece of feedback that we received from our fans is that the access to water's hard, and then the price of food was tough. And so, we actually put our heads together and said, how do we work with our partners? How do we work with FedEx? How do we work with our caterer? How do we work with Coke Consolidated? And really and truly bring something together that the fans can appreciate and really see if we can take this thing to the next level. And so we are now offering Grounds Plus. And so with our Grounds Plus model, every ticket that comes through that gate is going to have access to concessions and free non-alcoholic beverage. Wow. So water, Powerade, soft drinks, anything like that, fans will be able to go up and actually just, grab and go, take what they need, and it's all part of your ticket price. And the good thing is we had people go up to the Ryder Cup. They experienced, they went through the whole execution phase of actually going through the lines, going through the process. So we have done our best to really do our homework to understand how to make this, really big for the fans and really easy for the fans to where we roll this out. But the pricing model is what I'm most proud about. I mean, if you look at what the Ryder Cup was charging for tickets, they were charging around $400. Our tickets last year came out starting at about $75. This year, they're only coming out at $99. So you're literally talking about a $25 increase, and you have unlimited food, unlimited water, everything like that, as far as like non-alcoholic beverage. So it's a big step for us to kind of take, a leap of faith to do this for our fans. And not to mention, when you look at it, I mean, the pricing model's there, I think, the fan feedback, this was fan driven. I think that's a great story to tell. But you also have just the notion that we have free kids tickets. So a kid 15 and under, as long as you have a parent ticket with you, that kid, you can get 2 kids in for free. That Grounds Plus goes with those kids tickets. So it's not like they have to buy anything once they come in. Our military tickets that go through Big River Steel, all of our military personnel that comes to the event for free on behalf of a sponsor, they get this access too. So every single person that walks through the gate is now going to be part of this Grounds Plus model. So you're going to have access to non-alcoholic beverages. You're going to have access to food. I mean, it hopefully sets us apart from every other tournament and makes us really, truly fan, friendly. And that's ultimately what we want. Mm. And then from a hospitality standpoint, we still have a ton of great hospitality options. But we really saw that, a couple years ago from a hospitality angle, not a lot of people can do, 4 days and 25 tickets a day and stuff like that. So we implemented single-day hospitality. So we have single-day hospitality for our St. Jude Pavilion, our Freight 59, Michelob Ultra Club. So we have options for all fans. We can accommodate any ticketing need. The last thing I ever want is somebody to call me up and say, hey, you just don't have something for me. I can't, be a part of that because I can't accommodate. I can't do that many tickets. I mean, if you want one seat for one day in the St. Jude Pavilion that has air conditioning, food, drink, beer, wine, soda, everything like that, you can have access to it. And so that's one of the things that I really wanted to make sure that Memphis was able to accommodate is we want to make sure every fan out there has a chance to come out, experience the PGA Tour event at the level they want to experience it at, and just have a great time doing it and know they got the best bang for their buck on the PGA Tour.
Robert, 2 years ago, Bryant and I had a day and afternoon in Freight 59, and I promise you, I'm not being, I'm telling you straight, it was as nice in there than at Berkman's place at Augusta National.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard from numerous people, like you're saying, that is the number one hospitality option on the PGA Tour, which we take a lot of pride in. Everybody looks, kind of at, these other events and things like that. I mean, I love the surprise look on people's face when they come to Memphis and they get the experience of a lifetime. And that's the best thing about our outside companies that are coming here to Memphis to experience Memphis. There's so many times there's people call us up and, hey, I'm bringing 5 to 10 clients. What do I do? Where do I go? What hotels do I stay at? So it's always good to be able to point out the signature hotels. It's always good to be pointing out, like, the rendezvous of the world and the restaurants of the world, but it's when they come out to the tournament and they really and truly get to experience, a PGA Tour event with Southern hospitality. They just don't understand the level that we go to make sure every aspect of their experience is second to none. And that's what we want to do. And that's the one thing we hear from all of our fans. That's why they keep coming back. I mean, it's just amazing, our renewal rate and our retention rate, especially from companies coming from outside the Memphis area, even outside the Tennessee area. They keep coming back for more, and they keep bringing new people every year. It really is. It's a testament to the team, and it's a really big thumbs up to the city of Memphis of the experience that we're able to give people to come to this place.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. Robert, this has been a ton of fun, but before we let you go, since we're talking some golf, obviously PGA Championship this weekend, anybody you like this weekend? Anybody you want to pick?
I like them all. I can't.
That's a great answer.
I like them all. I'll tell you what, after the Masters is kind of like our, our launch pad. And I mean, honestly, I think this year the Players Championship proved the point that they're now the starting launch pad. You have the Waste Management that kind of kicks off the year really big. And then you get the Players Championship, which just was a dynamic event. I mean, unbelievable all the way around. And then the past 2 weeks, you've had really two big signature events with our friends in Miami and our friends in Charlotte, North Carolina. I mean, the Cadillac Championship at Doral, to bring the Blue Monster back and have that iconic golf course and just have Cam just kind of torch the field and just it was such a great event and to have it back there. But then you turn around, you go to Quail Hollow, and you have the Truist Championship. I mean, unbelievable event, and then you swing right back into it. Now we're going up to Philly for the PGA Championship. I mean, it's been 3 great weeks of golf, and I can't wait to see what happens in this one because this is a tough golf course. It's going to test these guys, and I tell you, our guys have asked for that. I mean, our players, they want to be challenged. They want to make sure that they put on a show for the fans. So I can't wait to see what happens this week. I think it's just going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Robert, this was a ton of fun. Thanks so much for joining us again, and we'll definitely have to do this again soon.
Man, boys, I'm honored to be a part of it. You let me know when you want me on. I've never found a microphone I don't want to talk to, so you let me know.
We love that. Thanks,
we
Robert.
love that. Thank you, Robert.
All right, talk to you boys soon. Bye.
Thanks, Robert. Robert Miller joining us. Man, that was a lot of fun. And obviously, Brett, I think we talked about it a lot with Joe Tomic when he would join us. But one thing I love about the entire team over there, just how innovative, how creative they get when it comes to
listen to their audience.
Exactly.
They listen to their customer.
I mean, there is nothing that they're going to say no to. There's nothing that they're going to say, we can't try that. They're going to try to do everything to make the experience as enjoyable for the fans that go out there as possible.
And it works.
It absolutely does. So definitely a lot of fun. We will absolutely be talking to him more.
Only thing, we got to make sure Robert is in charge of the Friday forecast this year. We don't want the deluge we had last year, do we?
Yes, I don't know who we have to talk to about that, but if we could not have
we can't blame that on Joe Tomic, though, can we?
No, we
Joe was
definitely
great.
cannot. Joe was incredible.
But Robert's going to crush it.
No, he absolutely is. So that was a ton of fun. Make sure you go. We're under 100 days until FedEx St. Jude Championship Week, so make sure you go. Like he said, there is a price point for everybody. Tons of different types of tickets out there. Make sure you go and get your tickets right now. But let's get to another break. When we return, the draft combine going on right now. We'll talk a little bit about the Grizzlies at that number 3 position, who they could be who they could be taking, who they should be taking. We'll do all of that next on Sports Time.
Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Available locally on your radio dial as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, it's easy to stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Whether you're buying, selling, or just want a fast cash offer, call Bubba Sandifer at Emmett Baird Realty at 901-257-9420 or direct at 901-319-0747. Looking to buy? Bubba will help you find that perfect home. Thinking about selling? Don't just stick a sign in your yard and hope for the best. With Bubba Sandifer at Emmett Baird Realty, you get maximum exposure, serious buyers, and real results. Want speed? He'll buy it as is for cash. Want top dollar? He'll list it. Either way, you win. Call Bubba Sandifer at 901-319-0747.
You are an adult. You can drink anywhere you want to. So why would you go to some chain bar when you could be one of the cool kids and go to Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect downtown neighborhood bar? Things are hopping in downtown Memphis, and Bell Tavern is smack dab in the middle of it. You know where nothing is happening? A big, loud chain bar full of people that don't know about Bell Tavern. Come on, visit Bell Tavern and feel better than other people.
Hey, you ready to bang? Bangers Pickleball in South Haven is now open with 10 courts, a restaurant, and 3 bars. New to pickleball? No problem. Take a free Bangers 101 class to learn. Bangers offers a great time for everyone, and there's no membership required. Bangers even has events for you non-pickleballers like mahjong, trivia, whiskey, and wine tasting. Bangers Pickleball has it all. All the rage, all the fun, all for you. Please dink responsibly at Bangers Pickleball, 6787 Snowden Lane, South Haven, Mississippi. Let's bang.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. Do you know what Penny Hardaway and I have in common? We should both be in that building celebrating the best basketball players of all time. Of course, I'll have to buy a ticket to get in, but he should already be there. But seriously, we both surround ourselves with the best people we can find. We work hard to achieve our goals, and we are both among the best in our respective fields. At Fiveash, we can't win titles or get national awards, but what we can and do strive to do is give 100% of ourselves to give you the best product possible and one you can be proud of. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call at 901-367-0050, and we will do everything we can to provide you the best of everything. Fiveash Roofing. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Here's something you don't see every day. It's a full-on brawl at Family Leisure. Oh, yeah. There's a battle of the brands happening right now with 7 different manufacturers all fighting it out for your business. Listen to this opening blow. Hot tubs starting at $34.99. Ouch! Then followed up with a mean right hook of swim spas starting at $16,999. That's a starting price. There are so many deals right now at Family Leisure, and the prices are just too low for me to even mention on the radio. One thing I can tell you, if you stop by Family Leisure and tell them you heard this on the radio, you're going to get a free cover lift with your spa purchase. But you better hurry in before all these great deals get knocked out. Technically, this is called the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Expo, but we're calling it the Battle of the Brands. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, the NBA Combine is going on right now. ESPN2 has the coverage of it, currently talking to NCAA championship coach Dusty May at the booth. Obviously, he's got a couple of guys participating in the Combine, but a lot of talk about some of these top prospects. Obviously, they will not be participating in the scrimmages that will take place later, but they are doing a lot of the individual drills, a lot of the measurements, and one thing that I think could be seen as a positive, Kevin Sweeney, our friend that joins us throughout the college basketball season, he tweeted this about an hour ago. Cameron Boozer with a really impressive shooting display, 19 for 25 in the spot shooting drill, including 9 straight at one point. So a lot of questions about Cameron Boozer and his three-point shot, but today showing that he can stroke it a little bit.
And he will work on it, and he'll improve, and he'll work on it and learn and keep doing it the right way. Well, he has heck from birth with his dad, but he will continue to, and that's one of the great things about him is the NBA body, it's ready, but it will get better. The game is ready, but it will get better, and he will work to get better. Seeing Dusty May, I've got it on that as well. Seeing Dusty May, I don't know why it hit me when he first flashed up on my screen, and I think everybody right now kind of associates maybe Indiana in football and a little bit Michigan in basketball, and they sure did with player acquisition. They just went out and bought one. Mm-hmm. That Michigan that just won it a month and a half ago, that would stand the test of time against a lot of great NCAA tournament teams.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure it wasn't better than the one that went on the Steve Fisher 6-game. I know it was better than the one that got hot at the right time in '89.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, it could play with a lot of teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we associate the here and now just with kind of going through the drive-up window and getting ball players.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's some of it. I'm not being naive. But Indiana football and Michigan basketball, they would stand the test.
No, they definitely would. I mean, you look at that team that Michigan had this year, and I mean, it is one of the more elite teams that we've seen in really college basketball in a really long time, maybe even ever. I mean, and it's showing now with those guys that are going to the NBA draft and are in the draft combine, and what they were able to get out of those guys was really, really impressive.
I don't know that Florida last year was that team. I do think the second team of the back-to-back for UConn was.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, the first team.
Yeah.
The first team of the back-to-backs for UConn. I'm not so sure that wasn't the best. I don't know. Rip Hamilton's bunch was good.
Mm-hmm.
But that UConn team, that's right up there with the among the best of the UConn champs.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good point. And so
I don't think that Florida team could have hung with Horford and Noah and company.
No, yeah, that would have been really tough. But yeah, I mean, it was a tremendous team, and I think it's as time goes on, I think we're going to look at it a lot better than we're looking at it right now, because it was a really impressive team. We'll see where some of these guys go in the NBA draft. Ade Mara has had a really nice first couple days at the combine, so it seems like he's
staying in.
Absolutely, yeah. And his stock seems like it's only rising with what I've seen over the last 2 days. And so, I mean, they're going to have a couple of first rounders and bringing back a couple of guys from last year's team. So really, really impressive stuff. What Michigan put together last year.
And I think my broader point about the Michigan team, how it stacks up, even last year Florida, I don't think we appreciate the champions now. They bought one.
Yeah. No, I think that's part of it. And certainly now with NIL and these budgets and especially the way that Michigan was kind of built of, hey, this guy from this team, this guy from that team, it's kind of like, oh man, of course, they just went out and bought the best team in the country, but that's really not the case. I mean, we talked about it a lot during the season and especially in the postseason of, look at what some of these guys were doing before they got to Michigan and how they were really able to get the most out of those guys and really start developing those guys and take their talents to the next level. So really, really impressive stuff, but we'll continue to get more information about what these numbers are looking like for some of these guys, especially with what the Grizzlies could possibly do at number 3. But we need to get to another break, wrap up this first hour. When we return, talk some college football and a little college basketball. Brent Beard from First Coast News down in Jacksonville, he joins us next.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? And if you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at lawnsolutionsinc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Old Dominick Distillery is pure Memphis spirit, all the way from the winning atmosphere at their downtown distillery to award-winning craft spirits. And there's always something happening. Saturday, May 23rd, you're invited to Old Dominick's Crawfish Boil. Rock out to music by the Risky Whiskey Boys. Eat big and wash it all down with a craft cocktail or local beer. Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
A long life is wonderful, but it comes with changes as you age. So when you're ready to change your home, Town Village Audubon Park is the perfect choice. Incredible location, amazing amenities, including a pool, all-inclusive dining, and on-site medical care so you can age in place. Monthly rental with no buy-in lets you make current choices. Apartments include full kitchen, washer and dryer, bi-weekly housekeeping, and all basic utilities. Landscape courtyards make it easy to get sunshine and fresh air. Gated parking keeps you ready to go. And the Town Village Dog Park keeps your fur baby close by your side. Hi, I'm Max. My wife Jean and I moved into Town Village Audubon Park 18 months ago. It's the best decision we ever made. We have made friends here and take part in lots of social activities. It's a comfortable life. So if you're thinking of making a change, come see me and Town Village Audubon Park. I think you'll like it as much as we do. And look, new friends.
Rebel Nation, get the latest on everything Ole Miss sports with the Cannon Motors of Mississippi Rebel Yell Hotline. Join Rebel insiders Chuck Rounsville, Yancey Porter, and Gary Darby Monday nights at 6 as they break down the latest with the Rebels, along with even more insight from special guests. Rebel Yell Hotline, Mondays at 6 p.m. on WHBQ.
Stay up to date with everything going on in Ole Miss athletics with Rebel Yell Hotline every Monday night from 6 to 7 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Already showing signs of building here on Sam Cooper, mostly going outbound. This time of the afternoon here, passing Perkins. Further south you go at Memphis. There's been a little bit of radar down through there earlier on 55 as it loads up over here now, right on schedule 240 east at Mill Branch, all the way out to 385 Billmores Parkway going outbound. A bridal season, it's just around the corner. Shop local at Weiner's Jewelry, conveniently located 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
And she says, I wish that I could be like the cool kids.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our second hour on this Tuesday afternoon. We've got to talk some college football, and we do it at this time every single week with Brent Beard.
College football talk every Tuesday with Brent Beard, Heisman voter, and on Twitter X at Brent Beard. SEC, ACC, AAC. We talk it all with Brent. Here's Brent Beard with Bryant and Brett.
Brent Beard joins us now from First Coast News down in Jacksonville to talk college football. Might get to a little college basketball as well, but a lot of college football news out there right now. But the really tragic news that came out yesterday, Missouri star running back Ahmad Hardy was in the hospital due to a gunshot wound after a concert down in Mississippi. Now, the news today, he is out of the hospital, which is certainly a good news, but really, really unfortunate news and definitely not good for the Missouri football team.
Listen, guys, it amazes me the trouble these guys get themselves into, and a lot of times it's not even their own fault, but it's funny you said that, because I was just reading about that situation too. There's an unusual, to be the month of May, there is a plethora of stuff going on right now that is good for the three of us, to say the least. But yes, I'm glad he's out. Hardy has been a tremendous for Missouri, to say the least. But listen, the main thing is prayers were answered that he wasn't hurt worse than he was.
Yeah, I think he's already returned back to Columbia. He's from the state of Mississippi. That's why he was down there. But you're right, Brent. May is really kind of crazy season in college football. It's the least that staffs and administrators in the kind of the building has control of them. That most all of them are free to do whatever from kind of now until like the Sunday of Memorial Weekend. That's when they report back, and then it really begins. In essence, mini camp. In essence. Yeah. Training camp like the NFL goes to, and they're there year round. And now many of them, again, in essence, are de facto employees, and that's what it is. But it's also crazy season among coaches leading into Destin in about 2 weeks. And in the last 24 hours, let's get the bats out and bang away at the pinata of Ole Miss, led by their former coach.
Yeah. He's an easy target. Unfortunately, at this point, that people want to do that. But look, I mean, he just taking advantage of people wanting him. He went to LSU. He's done a great job. Obviously, he's going to be interviewed. The thing. I mean, you deal with this every day. The thing that amazes me is. I mean, people shouldn't be surprised by what Lane says. I mean, Lane, look, if you do what we do, Lane is a godsend this time of year because he can give you some stuff that you can report on, not so much to ridicule and make fun of him, but to just give you stuff to think about. And I wish people were looking that way. Yes, absolutely. Sure he does, and he knows how to do that, and he's earned the ability to share his thoughts with this. So right now, virtually anything he says, he could say, "I'm going down to 7-Eleven to get a Diet Coke," and it'd be over the news everywhere. It's just amazing.
I read more Vanity Fair than I've ever read in my life.
I'm sure you have. Yes.
And I hope I've read the last of Vanity Fair. Here's what I must say about it. I've been consistent. He did Ole Miss a great job. He was hired to do one thing. He did it. He did it exceedingly well, and that was win football games. Now, he was very well paid for it in that time at a place that he now seemingly detests. He only made about $45 million, but he earned every red cent of it. He made the school that and much more through the years, but on the easy attack of Ole Miss and bringing up things of truly a couple of lives ago, over 60 years ago, I would just like to remind people that his words, when he took the Ole Miss job, his words, and I'm quoting pretty directly, he took Ole Miss over Arkansas because he said, "I heard and saw how much my brother Chris Kiffin loved and enjoyed working and living in Oxford when he was part of the Hugh Freeze staff." So Chris Kiffin loved it, sold it to Lane. Lane said he sold it to Lane. That was part of the reason that he took it. And in that time, Chris Kiffin returned back to Oxford to work for his brother. Both parents moved to Oxford to be around Lane. His ex-wife moved to Oxford to be there with their son to go to high school at one of the great public high schools in the country that is 50-50 in diversity of racial composition. It's 50-50. It's one of the great high schools literally in the country, Oxford High School, and Lafayette County in Oxford as well. It's a great couple of school districts there. And he had a daughter graduate from there. So I think he knows better than what he was saying. And look, when you're in a conversation like that, you're going to come out with some controversial things. I mean, look, people at Ole Miss can be mad at him, and I understand some of that to a degree. But on the other hand, they need to be appreciative of what he did there. And during the time that he was able to do there, he won some big games for them, and he's going elsewhere at this point. So
but guys like that they are easy targets, and that's one of the things we're seeing with him.
And he's going to win big at LSU. Big. He's 51 years old. Let's say he stays through his 60th birthday. I think he wins a national championship 2 or 3 times.
He could. Yeah, I would agree with that. And look, I mean, he's just doing what every other coach is doing at this point too. Now, I will tell you one thing I hear from the beat writers, and I'm curious if you guys have heard the same thing. Is at LSU. LSU is not they're not where they want to be yet. They don't have. Look, do they have talent? Of course they do. There's no doubt about that. But it's still going to take him a while to get that thing rebuilt. Now, everybody's going to be focused on everything he does between now and then. But the reality is people need to understand they have got to get all their players in. They don't have them in yet. They've got to be on the same page coaching. Will he improve the program? Of course he will. But he's not going to do it overnight.
Well, they want it overnight.
Yeah,
I know they do. Absolutely, they do. But the reality is,
they paid $91 million for him and $45 for the team.
Oh yeah,
that's a lot of money for wait till next year.
Yeah. Well. When you don't have all the talent you want, there is going to be some wait to next year. That's not to say. Because of his coaching acumen, he can't win some games and other coaches will lose.
And it was so hard for him to recruit at Ole Miss. He's got a quarterback from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and the best quarterback in the country and the best tailback in the country from Dallas, Texas. So it couldn't have been too hard.
No, absolutely.
No, definitely not. And then today, Steve Sarkisian going out there and throwing shots at Ole Miss.
Not only is Texas richer than the rest of us, they've always wanted to tell us that they're smarter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. Look, I get the fact that that Texas is turning a corner. I don't think they're there yet either, to be honest with you. In many ways, but and yes, they want to be sure everybody knows that. Now they did win 6 championships overall, not just in it wasn't a football thing only, but they won six championships. The Gators, who they're proud of this, won 4, so that was good for them. But
I'm sorry, I missed most of them.
I know. Most if you walk down the street and ask people, could you name those championships? To Breast Point, I don't think they could do that.
I'm pretty sure I watched the college football playoffs last year and didn't see Texas or Florida either one in it.
No, you didn't. No, these are championships in other sports.
Well, that's good. Hang those banners.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Hang banners wherever you can get them is unfortunately.
Sounded like Sark was hanging an IQ banner, didn't he?
Honestly, I mean, who was hanging the banner a couple weeks ago of the our 4 worst teams are better than the Big Ten's 4 worst teams? Was that Kirby?
Brian.
Was that? I think
Great
it was
point.
Kirby.
Great point.
Yeah, that is.
Now, when you really want to get the Lane friends in the next day or two, if Kirby has kind of the suggestive undercutting comment, something about Ole Miss, then there's no doubt it was coordinated because they are the 3 amigos, Lane, Kirby, Sark.
Yeah. Listen, I love to be a fly on the wall and hear those conversations sometimes.
See the text
that would be delightful.
Yeah, no, that would definitely be something. When you look at the SEC in this offseason, all the teams, who is the team that you have the biggest questions about entering the season?
Gosh, that's a great question too. I mean, you hear some. I don't think it's going to be much better than it has been, but you hear a lot of banter about Auburn being better. With the guys from South Florida there now, I'm not convinced that's going to be the case. I think they'll be better at quarterback than they've been in quite some time. But look, I mean, we've all three seen this, guys. Lord, how hard is it to get in your first year in this league? Just to get to know and get ready for the nuances of what goes on every week. So I would say, kind of from what I've seen so far, it would be Auburn. That's not going to be easy at all.
No, and it really speaks to if Lane, and he really is trying to condition his fans and the college football commentariat of, it may not be this year. It's a 2 or 3 year process, and I don't quibble with that. But it's not like he's walking into Ole Miss in 2020 following Matt Luke. I mean, he's at a program that should be much more established than what he had to build at Ole Miss. But if he's saying 2 or 3 years, what do you think Golish and Silverfield and some other Kentucky, other first year guys are saying on the patient game?
Yeah. Look, and we hear a lot of talk about how quickly some of these guys can get it off the ground and get going. And look, in this league, I don't care who you are. Your first year or two, you think you know what it is, but until you get in the middle of it, and now with the 9th game to make it even harder, and then you've got a difficult game in your non-conference play, at least one of those. Listen, fans want it to be easy and successful, but a lot of times it's just not. I remember, and I'm sure you guys do too, even in Kirby's first year, they lost what, guys? Probably a couple to 2 or 3 games that years afterwards they never would have lost, but you do in your first year.
It was really Freeze's last great win at Ole Miss in 2016, and not in a great year. He hammered Kirby in Oxford.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Kirby came to the Liberty Bowl that year and won against TCU, but it was his least best team since he's been there. But that was his first year. Yes. But that's at Georgia. So try being Ryan Silverfield.
Oh yeah, merciful heaven! Can you imagine? And how difficult that is. I mean, it's one thing to have a pedigree that you've been coaching or kind of grew up in the league, but when you land in the SEC with how ultra competitive it is, that's really difficult. And by the way, I'm reading here. I'm curious if y'all seen the same thing. College Game Day going to be there for LSU and Clemson to start the season. And you know good and well, if they're doing that game, Brent, they've got to be doing Ole Miss LSU a few weeks later, don't they?
They are, and I think that's going to be released at the upfronts. Was that the only thing out today, Brian?
That's all I saw.
Yeah, good question.
Because I was told that would be announced night game. It's a league rule. LSU can't play in the daytime. It's just too hot. I mean, it's the hottest place on earth. It's the veritable Mojave to play in the afternoon down there. Up until Thanksgiving, everything's got to be at night for them. But that game, and it makes sense to play it at night at Tiger Stadium, Clemson and LSU. And they played at night last year at Clemson at the other Death Valley. Week 2 in Austin for Ohio State, Texas. Week 3 in Oxford for Ole Miss and LSU. I'm already hearing this. And look, it's going to be fun. It's going to be wild. And September 19th in Oxford, and hotel rooms are going to be $1,000 for a 72-night minimum. I know all that. Yeah. It's going to be all that. I like telling younger Ole Miss fans and younger college football fans, I don't want to preach to anybody, but it's not anything new. It's just new people doing it. Ole Miss and LSU has always been at a peak 10 out of 10 on the Richter scale when they meet and they play. It's like it's a lot of younger friends want to tell me that the Egg Bowl now is more toxic than ever. No, it's not. It's always been crazy, and it always will be in a good kind of way.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that we've got too now is we've got all these entities, TV and radio and the internet and so forth, that in games like that.
My TikTok account. Yeah,
absolutely. they can spend all summer with games like that. So,
right.
and listen, and there's almost no way the game can live up to the hype that you got in the off season.
Brent, I mean, in your life, how many Iron Bowls have you been to? 40? Easy?
I don't know if it's been that many, but it's been a bunch. So I understand what you're talking about, yes.
And the very first one was just as rabid and crazy and things going on around it as this year's one will be. I'd like to tell well, I do. I've gone full old man screaming at the clouds. It's nothing new. It's just new people doing it. It's always been this important.
Well, and look, you guys know that the forte from television is, even though we've seen this now or some version of it for how many years that we've been alive, you would think they just reinvented the wheel. And Brett's point is right. I mean, there really is very little new under the sun. It's just a few different actors.
Okay, maybe McAfee running around shirtless, acting like a gas bag is new, but LSU Ole Miss has always been at a fever pitch, and it will be in Oxford this year, and it'll be mostly fun. It'll be a lot more fun if Ole Miss wins.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Well, but the thing that you hear is from these coaches already, and I'll be interested in Destin in a few weeks. What they say is, look, every game is important. When you're playing 9 now, we've only got 1 week. I know the coach is going to complain somewhat, but it's it is new, but there's some ways there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, there really isn't. Before we let you go, Brent, I know we're talking a lot of college football, but the Grizzlies with the number 3 pick in the NBA draft. A lot of talk now about who they could potentially take at number 3, with kind of the 2 big names to watch: Cameron Boozer and then Caleb Wilson, 2 guys that played in the ACC. What do you make of those 2 players and their prospects of being NBA players?
Boozer to me would be maybe the better prospect. I'm not sure that. Look, when you got a situation like that, it's nice to have almost a coin flip, frankly. But to me, Boozer just had the temperament as much as anything else, and he had to carry them on his back a few times, and he was able to do it. So if I had a choice between the 2 of them, I'd go with him.
Yeah. No, I think that's the popular choice right now around Memphis, and we'll learn a lot more about these guys over the next month or 2. But Brent, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll talk to you again next Tuesday.
The great thing about today is, compared to 10 to 20 years ago, is we could talk for another 30 minutes on stuff we hadn't even brought up yet. Yes. And it's the middle of May. That is the thing and Brett, I don't care how old I get, I will never get over that compared to when you and I first started in the business.
I won't either. But even then, Brent, I never bought into, air quotes here, slow time. I never did, because that's when we us had to put on our thinking caps, and I always thought it was there. Now it is all really there now, content-wise, and bills. And I have said for a long time, Brian, I've said it a million times, I think the build-up from 4th of July until kickoff may be my favorite time of the year, because hope springs eternal. Everybody's happy. Does. The losses haven't occurred. Nobody's even infatuated by the backup quarterback yet.
Oh, yeah. That's truly a great point, and we're able, even with newspapers coming and going, we're able to get news and information that we've never been able to do it before. So it's a listen. It is a wonderful time to do what we do. There's no doubt about it.
Sure is. It definitely is. A lot going on. Brent, as always, thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again next week.
Good. Look forward to it, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Brent.
Thank you, Brent. Brent Beard with us from down in Jacksonville at First Coast News on college football. He's with us every week. Brian, needless to say, with everything going on, I'm going to do every show that invites me. I'm going to join them, And last night I was on a show in Huntsville. I did a show earlier today in Palm Beach, and I'm going to do one first thing in the morning in Mobile. And my answer is really simple, on just like I enunciated with Brent about Lane. You didn't hear him, and you know I like him, and you know how much I thought of him and think of him as a coach. I think he's the best game day, in-game, zig and zagging coach that I've ever seen. Monday through Friday might need a little work sometime, but game day really has it. But he voiced none of this during 6 years at Ole Miss. I mean, less than a year ago, he was saying it changed his life, that he needed it more than they needed him. So now what has changed? Well, what has changed is the uniform he's wearing.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right about that. And so, the timing was certainly interesting, and, how it was rolled out yesterday. And so, I think it feels like all of his buddies in the SEC, it's kind of hop on Ole Miss week right now with what he said, what Sark said earlier today.
We'll see Sark October 24th.
That's right. Yes, that's the beauty of all this
Let
offseason
play do the
talk.
talking.
Is yes, you will ultimately see them on the field, and you'll better team will win, and we'll see what all that talk does.
I know this. I'm getting a lot of this from some. It's a small faction, but it has been noisy, it has been boisterous, it has been loud from the day Lane was hired. I told you so, meaning don't touch him. And they're really coming out to play now. How do you feel now? I told you so. Well, I'll tell you how I feel now. I'm still really dang proud of 52 wins, 2 Sugar Bowls, a Peach Bowl, a Gator Bowl, a couple other bowl appearances, a win at the Outback Bowl. And I asked, I want to reverse the question to them. So on the whole, I told you so. What else are you telling me? Are you telling me that Thanksgiving weekend 2019 that Keith Carter should have kept Matt? Oh, okay, there were many that wanted that. Fire Matt. Some openly talking about rehiring Freeze. Really? You want to go down that road?
Yeah.
Fire Matt, don't hire Freeze. Hire Billy Napier.
Yeah.
Couldn't win at Florida. Fire Matt, hire Neil Brown, who left Troy to go to West Virginia. Couldn't get a lot done. Is now trying to kickstart it, I think, at North Texas. Is that right?
I believe so, yeah.
Is that where Neil Brown is now? You really want to go down the I told you so game?
Yeah. No, I don't think that's
because let me tell you what happens if you keep Matt, or you hire Neil Brown, or you hire Billy Napier, or even if you rehire Hugh Freeze, which that was a really, really small but boisterous bunch, and there are a lot of, and that they're kind of the bunch that leads the I told you so crowd, because they really like Frosty. They lead that. You know where Ole Miss would be? Be where Arkansas is.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point.
Coming off a 16th out of 16 in the SEC, and back-to-back hires of Chad Morris and Sam Pittman.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And so, I think they're in a much better position right now than certainly Arkansas is in. But it has been an interesting couple days for Ole Miss football. But we need to get to another break, and when we return, we're going to switch gears a little bit. The NBA playoffs, 2 games last night, only 1 game later tonight. We'll talk about all the action from last night. Start previewing tonight's game as well. We do that all next on Sports Time.
Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Available locally on your radio dial as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, it's easy to stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for unlimited range time, free gun rentals with purchase of ammo, and members lounge access. Top Gun, 2770 Witten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always shoot with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Every 34 seconds, someone in America dies from heart disease. In that same time, you could be managing your heart health at home with Cardia Mobile, the #1 doctor-recommended personal EKG device that detects atrial fibrillation and other arrhythmias in just 30 seconds. Unlimited readings from anywhere at a surprisingly affordable price. Order now at Cardia, KARDIA.com or Amazon, because when it comes to your heart, seconds count.
Memphis, ripping the Grizzlies, holler and go Tigers. Make sure your home or business looks like a winner too. Call Hall Power Washing Solutions. They handle power washing for driveways, sidewalks, and more, as well as soft wash, roof cleaning, gutters, and window cleaning. They're fully insured and bring the hot water for the toughest grime. Go to hallpowerwashingsolutions.com or call 901-258-1399 for more information and a free estimate. Hall Power Washing Solutions, turning Memphis grime into shine.
Cleanliness is next to impossible unless you call High-Low Commercial Services. For 15 years, High-Low's dedicated team has been cleaning offices throughout the Mid-South. High-Low's janitorial services are customized to your business. Clean once, quarterly, or ongoing, and get the JRD guarantee. We clean until you're satisfied. High-Low Commercial Services, the biggest and the best in the Mid-South. Visit MrCleanTeam.com. That's MrCleanTeam, MrCleanTeam.com for High-Low Commercial Services.
This traffic brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. We've seen a couple of wrecks out here the last few minutes. Right on schedule with that volume of traffic now on 240 southbound here at South Parkway. Just trying to get through the Midtown area. Stop and go certain sections of Sam Cooper, especially there at Perkins. All that traffic coming off Sam Cooper right now onto I-40. Hey, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital is leading the way the world understands, treats, and defeats childhood cancer. If you can help these kids, and I certainly hope you do, log on to stjude.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
We talked a little bit about both those games from last night. The Thunder, they complete the sweep over the Lakers, 115-110 the final score. The Lakers made it difficult last night for Oklahoma City to complete the shutout, but a big-time fourth quarter for the Thunder was enough to secure the 5-point win. So the Lakers, a lot of unknown now moving forward, especially with LeBron James, and Oklahoma City still waiting on their first loss in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, did LA challenge them last night? I thought the Oklahoma City had in third gear most of the night.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I mean more of that is leading. I think the way that the series has played out, it's been pretty much all OKC. I think the Lakers leading in the third quarter, fourth quarter of that game. There was that opening for them to win the game and win one at home. So, they were in it. They were competitive. I mean, only a 5-point loss against this Oklahoma City team. I think they put up a decent fight last night. It's just, it wasn't enough against this Oklahoma City team.
The Lakers have a lot of questions, and I'll go back again, and even under the specter of today's just almost incredibly horrible news. The worst news day in Grizzlies history. To have a player die like this. As the details emerge, we will have more. But on the basketball front, if the Grizzlies have that many questions, or if the Lakers have that many questions, and how many do the Grizzlies have? And other teams have. Last night with that loss, LeBron in Hollywood, he exits stage left, and now the question is how much longer for the LeBron show with a rare cameo occasionally from Bronny. You got to give them credit. Last night they did combine for 24, 12, and 3.
They sure did.
That was all LeBron.
Yes.
Bronny had nothing. He had triple zeros.
Yeah, no, he didn't even see the court last night.
Didn't go to the scorer's table. But you're hearing a lot of blame of the front office. Rob Pelinka gets a lot of it. Of course, Luka's injury was paramount. It was really big. I don't think the seed would have been that much better down the stretch if he had been healthy. And I don't think they get much past here. Maybe more competitive in this round instead of out in 4. They're out in 6. Okay, big deal. There's some really hard critique out there of J.J. Redick, but we've heard that about every Laker coach that LeBron's had. It was more coach than LeBron. It's almost whatever you do, don't blame LeBron. He's 4-6 all time in NBA Finals. His last real title 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously he's getting up there in age, and time is ticking for him. But has still able to play and can make a big impact. But I mean, when you're looking at a roster that has all the money LeBron James is making, all the money Luka Doncic is making, it's hard to put together a complete roster around those guys. And you saw them have those issues with the hole that they had at the center position and trying to find a guy that could step in and be that center for them. They really didn't have much depth at that position, and really even much of a reliable player at that position. So, maybe the Lakers want to see LeBron James go somewhere else where, again, they can have more of that flexibility and try to put together a more complete team, because I think they have some nice pieces. It's just, can you put together a complete team that can go out there and compete at the highest level?
To be a championship team, you can't have a single hole. You've got to have it. You've got to have it all. And you mentioned yesterday when we went, maybe DeMichael said it, but in that conversation it was said by either you or he that in this smaller ball that we've gone to, you still have to have that bigger player, if for no other reason, this time of year.
Yeah, I think that was DeMichael that said that yesterday, and it's a really good point. And so, the center position has been the big need for the Lakers, and like we said earlier, I think they got better play from DeAndre Ayton throughout the season, but it was nowhere near what it needed to be a starting caliber center on a playoff type team. And so, I think if you free up some of that space, if LeBron goes somewhere else, I think you can put together maybe a more complete roster. Obviously the league and the caps and the CBAs and everything has changed so much that it's really hard to have multiple superstars on the same roster and be super competitive. And so I don't know what it's going to look like. Obviously there are a lot of fan bases that would love to have LeBron James on their team, but the big question is can you put together a top caliber team in the NBA when having LeBron James and Luka Doncic on the same roster?
And interesting that you're hearing people say that Luka needs more of the cast that he had in Dallas.
Yeah.
Why did Dallas deal him?
Yeah, no, well, we could go on and on about that, of why they dealt him, but it feels like you hear different things from everybody around that. But yeah, it's a good question, and we've seen, they've made it very clear in LA that, he's the future, and, even the decisions going into this season, we're going to be more tailored around him and less on LeBron James. And so, I think you're going to start seeing, especially this offseason, if LeBron James move, they're going to tailor this roster and who they bring in to really fit and complement Luka Doncic. And like you said, I mean, I don't think with Luka Doncic on the court they win this series, but I think there's a really good chance that it's not a complete sweep by the Lakers. So they certainly missed him, and we'll see what this offseason looks like for them.
Yeah, it was in ugly style.
Mm-hmm. No, it was.
But we've done it because they are that big a story. The whole basketball story from last night till today on the court, the basketball story, has been Lakers, Lakers, Lakers. Why are we talking about Cleveland?
That's a good question. I think more people should be talking about Cleveland and what they did last night. I mean, we talked all playoffs up until last night about Donovan Mitchell and needing to have that, A+ game from one of these guys in Cleveland, and for him to go out there, finish with 43, to have the second half that he did to give Cleveland that win was extremely impressive. And now this is a brand new series, and Cleveland has the momentum right now. Obviously, we'll shift back to Detroit, and we'll see if the Cavaliers can keep this momentum or if the Pistons can regain it back at home. But last night, really impressive from the Cavaliers.
And as hard as this is to believe, and the third team of the group, I'm going to mention is probably one closer to a title than the first two. But the Lakers and Golden State, it's a dream far, far away of the next parade, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels like it. I think both of them.
And then Boston?
I don't know if I'd say far, far away for Boston. I mean, they still have Jason Tatum, and once they get him back completely healthy, and I mean that roster was just there a couple years ago. So, I think they're certainly closer. But with both Golden State and with LA, they've got, I think, really great pieces to work with, and so who knows how long it is for both those teams. I think both of them could very realistically in the next couple of years be kind of right back in there in contention and be back to the kind of forefront of stories in the NBA.
But except for Oklahoma City, we know what we think they're probably getting ready to go on, and we think in the next 10 years, if we had to divvy up championships over the next 10 years. Let's just arbitrarily give this year and 2 more to Oklahoma City, okay?
Okay.
Would you do that?
Sure. For this, let's. Okay. Sure.
All right, that leaves 7. 2 for Wemby?
Maybe, yeah.
That leaves 5. Who's even the next team that you would say, oh, yeah, they're going to get one of those 5? Who's that close? The Knicks?
No. I'd probably put Boston in that category.
Okay.
I'd put Boston in there.
We'll go 1, okay?
Okay.
That's 4 over the next 10 years. There's not hardly anybody else that you can go, give them 1. Not Cleveland.
No. No, I mean, very, very few of these teams have proven that they can be in
Detroit?
that conversation. No, I mean, they got to prove it first, I mean.
So for being in the wilderness and a lot of pieces to put together and wait in the back of the pack, I don't want to sugarcoat it, the Grizzlies can emerge from this.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take a lot of work.
Maybe not to be one of those title-winning teams.
No.
But certainly to have May basketball and have fun with it and get some energy back.
Yeah, no, they definitely can. It's going to take a lot of work. We talked about it earlier of, you can't just rely on the draft. You've got to go out there and make more moves and be creative with how you build your roster. But yeah, I mean, the West is always going to be hard. It's only going to get tougher, but I definitely think, the Grizzlies can definitely be a team that makes a jump and kind of gets into that consistent playoff appearances, but it's going to be a couple years. It's not going to be overnight. You're talking about 3-4 years before you even get to that point for the Grizzlies.
Why did I sense reluctance from you about Oklahoma City? Do you not think this is dynastic?
No, I do, but I think any team 4 titles over a 10-year span is absurd.
That's a big order.
That is crazy to even think about. So,
but the NBA usually gobbles them up in groups like that. Now
usually we haven't seen
lessening
that
though.
Yeah. We started to see it get away from that, and I think
and I think that's hopeful for Memphis because again, there are banks everywhere. You can have stars everywhere. You don't have to be in that big market.
No, you definitely don't. And so yeah, I mean, look, if San Antonio gets by Minnesota, I think they're going to give Oklahoma City a really hard fight this year, and those two teams are only going to stick around, and I think we're going to see over the next handful of years, we're going to see a lot of really intense matchups between Oklahoma City and San Antonio. But, the bad thing about it is you look around the Western Conference and, it's going to be tough to really compete over the next couple of years in that West. These teams are the teams that are good are going to remain good. And then some of these teams they're not very good are only going to get better, it seems. And so the Grizzlies just have to be one of those teams that kind of rides the wave of getting better. And hopefully, they can make that jump and, see a couple of other teams make falls over the next couple of years and be in that mix.
Brian, let me tell you a tussle that I've had today. One of the fights of my life. Bare knuckle brawl. And I'm kind of battered and scarred from it. Trying to download my World Cup ticket.
Oh, really? I believe that's probably.
Oh, wow.
That's probably.
I still don't know if I have it.
Jeez.
I still don't know if it's really there or not.
Yeah, no, that is. I can believe that's probably.
Why do they want to know who I'm for?
Interesting.
The process. I promise you, it was 2 hours of pain. I had laptops open. I had phones open, and I know I got the StubHub app, and it looks like it's going to be delivered at some point, but I'm not real sure.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how mobile tickets. I don't really. That is one thing. Yeah, I'm pretty good with the mobile tickets, but that is one thing where I'll buy a ticket and it'll say something like they'll be delivered at this point. I'm like, it's a mobile ticket. Why is it not just instantly delivered to me and automatically in my account? So it is a little weird. Yeah, exactly. So I feel like I should have it immediately, but it is weird. Can you say that you're just for the world? Like I'm just it's World Cup. I'm here for the world. I
finally marked Curacao.
All right. Yeah. I think that's good. But can you not just be for just for the world? Just we are the world type vibes of I just hope everybody has fun.
People have joined the army answering less questions than I did filling out trying to get that World Cup ticket.
That is insane.
People have put one hand on the Bible and thrown the other one up and been sworn into the army.
I hate that. But I am glad you're going, and I am very excited for the World Cup. So it will be fun. I can't wait.
Cardinals on Friday night.
Oh man,
my Curacao on Saturday night against Ecuador.
Even better. The thought that Brett Norsworthy is going to be our World Cup correspondent on location.
I'm going to be humming "We Are the World" the whole
It's
time.
Incredible. It really is.
Mr. Man of the World.
That's right. Yes, that's you. That is exactly you. So I am very excited for that. But let's go ahead and get to another break. And when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at codesdispensary.com. That's codesdispensary.com.
Your home is your best investment, so why not make it the best it can be with help from Gates Lumber? Start with your front door, serving two purposes, curb appeal and security. Gates has solid construction doors built for security, durability, and beauty. See and compare wood, steel, and fiberglass options side by side at Gates Showroom. It's easier to choose when you can see and touch real doors with real assistance from knowledgeable staff helping you choose the right door for your home and budget. So don't just replace your door, upgrade your protection, and Gates Lumber is the right choice. Family owned and operated, serving you for over 100 years with free estimates, free delivery, competitive prices, and quality products. Call 901-942-3201, go to gateslumber.com, or come by their showroom, 1253 South Bellevue Boulevard. Gates Lumber, celebrating over 100 years with a passion for craftsmanship since 1920.
Spring Black Friday is on at the Home Depot. Save on grills and patio sets that will be sure to bring your hosting game up a notch. Fire up your feast with help from the Home Depot and save on grills. Like the Next Grill 4-burner propane gas grill was $249, now on special buy for $199. Or give everyone the best seat in the yard with the Hampton Bay Mayfield Park 4-piece conversation set for only $399. Save on grills and patio sets with low prices guaranteed during Spring Black Friday only at the Home Depot. Now through April 22nd while supplies last. Exclusions apply. See homedepot.com/price match for details.
Hey, you ready to bang? Bangers Pickleball in South Haven is now open with 10 courts, a restaurant, and 3 bars. New to pickleball? No problem. Take a free Bangers 101 class to learn. Bangers offers a great time for everyone, and there's no membership required. Bangers even has events for you non-pickleballers like mahjong, trivia, whiskey, and wine tasting. Bangers Pickleball has it all. All the rage, all the fun, all for you. Please dink responsibly at Bangers Pickleball, 6787 Snowden Lane, South Haven, Mississippi. Let's bang.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet peculiar peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finish with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes. Or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger-buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
When you hear the sound coming.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brown. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
What up, big guy? I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, my big number today is the number 14. It goes back to Sunday and the NBA draft lottery. Washington had a 14% chance of winning the number 1 pick, and they got that number 1 pick. And now they have all the power in the world with that number 1 pick and so many options in front of them. If they want to go out there and draft A.J. DeBonza, by all means, they will go out there and draft A.J. DeBonza. But what is more interesting is the team that has the number 2 pick, the Utah Jazz. It is no secret how much the Utah Jazz like A.J. DeBonza. Heck, their owner paid for him to go to school at BYU. So Washington's in a position where they can go to Utah and say, look, we know who you want. We're going to take him at number 1, but we would love to make a deal with you. And we hold the number 1 pick, and it can be yours for this price. They could easily move down to number 2 and take a tremendous player, whether it is Darren Peterson or Cam Boozer or anybody else. So the Wizards, with all the power and what people are considering the best draft we've seen in a really long time, it's going to be fun to see what they do over this next month, and if they do make a move down, and maybe Utah gets that number 1 pick and gets A.J. DeBonza.
Yeah, the Jazz owner, he's already got the routing number for DeBonza.
Yeah, he knows him very, very well. So.
He knows where to make deposits. My big number is 64. This week's the PGA Championship in Newtown Square, PA, outside northwest of Philadelphia, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And it was 64 years ago, 1962, the last time and the only time that it's ever hosted a major, and that was a PGA, and Gary Player won that year. That was the year of my birth. How about these golf major winners the year I was born?
Okay.
It was the big 3. Nicklaus won 2 of the 4 majors, wow. Augusta and U.S. Open player of the PGA, and Arnold Palmer, the British Open. The big 3 won the 4 majors my birth year. Your birth year, I looked it up.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Okay, let's hear it.
Vijay Singh at the Masters.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
then I think you've heard of the other guy winning the other 3.
Who's that?
Tiger.
Well, okay. Well, that makes a lot of
Tiger
sense.
at the U.S. Open by a record 15 strokes.
Okay.
Tiger at the British Open. Tiger at the PGA.
Wow. That's incredible. I mean, I knew my year was my birth year was great. I already knew it, but that makes it even more special, I guess you could say. But no, I'm excited about this weekend, and I think it's going to be a really good tournament. I know who your pick is at number 1. I still have not decided who my pick at number 2 is going to be tomorrow when we make our picks, but
you'll be up next.
That's right. It's nice to kind of know that I already know who your pick is for that.
Richard Cross will join us tomorrow at 3:30. He's on ESPN Plus coverage for the PGA Championship, and he spent all day yesterday on the course and could go anywhere he wanted to. Literally was right behind Scotty watching shots, and was really impressed by the course and intimidated by the rough. And historically, that hadn't been a PGA signature, is a lot of rough. Richard said, and he'll repeat it with us tomorrow, in the rough, add a half shot every time you're in it.
Wow.
You got to be in the fairway.
Holy cow! Wow. So yeah, that'll make it difficult this weekend. But and I'm really excited. Obviously, that will get started on Thursday, and we'll certainly talk a lot about that over the next couple of days, and we'll make our picks tomorrow.
Robert Miller had the best pick, though. When you're the executive director and tournament director, you like them all.
Like them all. I mean, could not have gotten a perfect answer about who is your pick for the PGA Championship this weekend.
And never easy. Always hard with the duties and responsibilities. And Robert was just great with us, and will do us a great job. You really feel the passion and the heart and soul, the love of it. But way back, like with Dwight Drinker and Phil Cannon in Darrell Smith's years, you were out there, and the tournament was out there. I mean, they were recruiting people to come play. Now with the system, you kind of know the parameters on who will be in your tournament. Might have some that don't play. That's their option. We'll see how that works this year. If it's a repeat of last year, it could be.
Yeah.
But we know in the broad who it'll be.
Yeah, no, we absolutely do. And we know it will be
and in the narrow.
Yeah, that's right. And it's going to be a great field here in Memphis. So going to be fun over these next couple of days. And certainly when all the action gets started for the PGA Championship will be a lot of fun to watch. But let's go ahead and get to another break, wrap up the second hour. Again, a reminder, we're out early this afternoon. Ole Miss and UT Martin, the final midweek game of the season for Ole Miss. That gets started at 6 o'clock, but we'll get you over there at 5:30 for the pregame show. So a shorter third hour, but don't go anywhere because we're talking the NFL. Bo Marchant, he joins us next.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, there's some things about the Rendezvous I want to talk about. For example, we make it really easy to park. We have valet parking right at Monroe Street in our alley. We also want to make it easy for people to get to-go orders. You can now park in our alley right at our front door and put your flashers on. People also forget that we take reservations for 6 or more. And we have a wonderful party room upstairs that can accommodate people for rehearsal dinners, birthday parties, reunions, graduations. Our rooms seat between 25 and 275 people. And everything at the Rendezvous can be packed to go. Brett, we also do catering. See our menu online, and we can even deliver for groups of 15 or more. So if you have any questions, always feel free to call us at the Rendezvous because we answer our phone ourselves. You'll never hear, please listen carefully for our menu has changed. Press 1 for reservations, press 2 for hours, press 3 for catering, or if you know your party's 9-digit extension number and the first 3 letters of their mother's maiden name, dial it now. Come see us at the Rendezvous.
Since 1948, the Rendezvous.
It's golf time. What's my first thought? Miramichi, of course, Miramichi. Sometimes you need just to escape the hustle and bustle of life, and that's exactly what Miramichi will provide. It means the place of happy retreat, and I promise you, it lives up to its name. While it might not be in the heart of Shelby County, it's certainly worth the drive. It's 25 minutes from my driveway in East Memphis. Once you arrive at the front door, you know you're going to get an experience unlike any other public golf course in town. Let's start with practice facilities. Not all are created equal, and you will find none better than those at Miramichi. The range is an impressive 12-acre space. It allows you to spread out and practice for those long drives. They got a great short game place. They've got a chipping green. They've got a putting green. They're beyond compare. You want to get better? You go to Miramichi. You want a great competitive golf course? You go to Miramichi. It's worth the drive. I love it. Miramichi.
A long life is wonderful, but it comes with changes as you age. So when you're ready to change your home, Town Village Audubon Park is the perfect choice. Incredible location, amazing amenities, including a pool, all-inclusive dining, and on-site medical care so you can age in place. Monthly rental with no buy-in lets you make current choices. Apartments include full kitchen, washer and dryer, bi-weekly housekeeping, and all basic utilities. Landscape courtyards make it easy to get sunshine and fresh air. Gated parking keeps you ready to go. And the Town Village Dog Park keeps your fur baby close by your side. Hi, I'm Max. My wife Jean and I moved into Town Village Audubon Park 18 months ago. It's the best decision we ever made. We have made friends here and take part in lots of social activities. It's a comfortable life. So if you're thinking of making a change, come see me and Town Village Audubon Park. I think you'll like it as much as we do. And look, new friends.
Uncorked flavor, Corky's barbecue. We're cooking it up, down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like the good old days.
Hey y'all, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. Catering is our specialty. Memphians have trusted Corky's to cater their events for 40 years because we make it easy for you and delicious for your guests. Whether it's 50 people or a crowd of thousands, our experienced team comes to your location, sets up, serves, and ensures everyone enjoys a Corky's all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet starting at only $7.99 per person. You can't beat it. With 40 years of experience, it's easy to see why customers choose Corky's time and time again for all of their catering needs. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to book us for your next party.
Uncorked flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Humdinger's Taco Tuesday. Enjoy crunchy slaw, grilled fish, and chicken, and the best taco sauce in town. $2 tacos all day. The best deal in town.
This traffic brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A little bit slow at times. 40 East over here at Sam Cooper as it picks up with more volume on 40 East over around Sycamore View Road, headed out into Fayette County as it loads up with more volume. Trying to get through Midtown here the last few minutes on 240 southbound at South Parkway. So far, so good on the I-40 bridge over into Clinton County. Hey, don't let a slipping transmission make things worse on your car or truck. If you're having transmission problems, come to Amco Transmissions in 2 locations here in Memphis. Tell them I sent you. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with John Harden, weekdays from 11 to 1. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we get our third hour started again. A shorter show for us as we're out early. Ole Miss baseball, the final midweek game of the regular season. They're in action tonight against UT Martin. That game will start at 6 o'clock, but we will get you over for the pregame show starting at 5:30. So a little limited time this afternoon, but we do need to talk the NFL, and we do it at this time every single week with Bo Marchant.
National Football League talk every Tuesday with Bo Marchant, covering the NFL Draft at collegetopro.com and the NFL Draft Bible, covering the Steelers for Sports Illustrated, living and running in Eastern Ohio, and on Twitter X at Bo Marchant. Here's Bo with Bryant and Brett.
Bo Marchant joins us now to talk the NFL. A lot to get to, but we know the team that you focus on the most is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And all week the conversation has been about Aaron Rodgers and when he will make a decision and what that decision will ultimately be. It sounds like most people believe he will be back for another season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the report that came out yesterday, he was supposed to meet with the Steelers and did not meet with the Steelers over the weekend. What do you think of this situation? Do you think he's ultimately back for another season in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I think about it. And again, going through the process last year with the teams, they really weren't commenting on via Mike Tomlin or General Manager Omar Khan at the time. They really weren't discussing or being open very much with us, but they publicly, Omar Khan talked about it at the Combine, almost during every press conference that we've had with McCarthy or Khan, the question of Aaron Rodgers has popped up, even with Mr. Rooney, and it's always a clear dialogue that, you know, they've had contact with them, they're in clear contact with them, they feel comfortable with the process. And I think OTAs are Monday, May 18th, so really prior to that, there's really no point of him being there. Just like last year, he arrived late, and he didn't do any work through OTAs. Maybe he'll do work through OTAs now, so I would be really shocked if it works out any other way, just because they've been so relatively open about it. And really, again, I forget the exact date that he signed last year, but nonetheless, even if, you know, the facility over the weekend, you know, there's no point for him to come to Pittsburgh early if they're not doing nothing. So, you know, he's familiar with McCarthy's system. You know, he's familiar with the Steelers in terms of the players because he, you know, worked with those guys last year. So, it's coming down the pike. I would be blown away if it ends up any other scenario where he would walk away or sign with another team. I think by May 18th, when the first day of OTAs begin, I think that Aaron Rodgers will be, you know, in Allegheny County or whatever in the city of Pittsburgh on the south side. He may not be working or practicing, but I think we'll see number 12 out there doing his thing in terms of just, you know, being the guy, being the teammate, joking around with the new guys, and maybe directing the young Drew Aller out of Penn State on some of the footwork that McCarthy was teaching him last week at rookie minicamp.
And we know he can still get that ball behind that right ear and flick it.
Oh, yeah. Listen, guys, you know, I mean, seeing Ben for all the years, you know, Hall of Fame, but there was, when Rodgers got to camp last year, or OTAs, and, you know, he started to, you know, fling it and just work. You know, I think some of the throws he makes just in, you know, practice, they're just fun to watch. You really do see a poet, if you will. You know, somebody that's very skilled. It's pretty to watch, put it that way. You know, you can watch a lot of guys throw a football, and you wouldn't even have to know who Aaron Rodgers was, but if you see him throw a football and that element, you would just say, wow, that guy can really throw a football with, you know, some pizzazz, some skill set, some velocity, some accuracy, all those things go into the making. He's a special guy. Listen, again, I can't tell you folks enough how adored he is in the facility, how engaging he is to just all the guys. Last year when he got there, he spent the Trobe. Before, you know, they would stretch, he would just go find a random guy and stretch with that person. You know, they kind of, you know, they balance each other out to players, so it'd be two players. The cafeteria, he talked about us. You know, you'd see Aaron, you know, sitting with different guys each day. He didn't want to say, hey, I'm Aaron Rodgers, you know, you can't sit with me. He was like saying, hey, I'm Aaron Rodgers, I want to get to know you. This is, you know, you probably know who I am because I am Aaron Rodgers, but nonetheless, you know, is he quirky? Is he weird? Does he do some strange stuff? Is he about himself and all those things? Yeah. But when it comes to football and being a team player and being one of the most knowledgeable guys that I think I've, you know, been around in terms of what the other players say about him, I mean, it's hard to say that there's nothing magnificent about Aaron Rodgers as a football player.
Bo, it's interesting you say that, and I've never told this story, but I'm getting ready to. I'm going to tell it now. And I do it with some reluctance because I don't want it, and it will a little. It's not a slam on Brett Favre. I love Brett Favre. I love how he played. I love the swashbuckling style. But we know that he could have some peculiarities about him, and reporting to camp often was one of them. So one year I'm at a Super Bowl, and to my immediate left was a nice young lady that covered the Packers and the NFL for a TV station in Green Bay. And when you get to the Super Bowl, you get your seat real early, and boy, you talk about everything with the person, either to your left or right or both. And she was delightful and very engaging. And I guess this would have been Super Bowl 47, so that'd been 2013 or so in New Orleans. So this was kind of the merger of Favre leaving and Aaron Rodgers coming in. And just stereotypically, I said, well, is Rodgers as difficult as I hear? She said, oh, no, he's great. He's great to everybody. Nothing like Favre was. Favre was the difficult one.
Wow, I'm glad I got to hear that. I'm glad it kind of resonates what I said in terms of, Aaron being that guy. I cannot tell you how the guy.
Favre earned being difficult. I don't want to run him down because I did love him, and that Monday night game when he played right after his dad passed. I mean, that was incredible TV.
Yeah, Monday night television. Your dad passes away, and
he goes out and games it up.
Clutch moments. That's when you know you're clutch because you said that one, I'm not going out, or you have the worst game of your life. And as you know, I mean, he put on one of the best Monday night performances of all time.
That was magic TV. Speaking of TV, boy, all the schedule. Heck, it's all going to be out by release time. I saw early this morning. I saw Troy Aikman making the rounds with announcements. Week 1, 49ers at Rams in Australia. We know it will be on TV. Cowboys at Giants Sunday Night Football. Broncos at Chiefs Monday Night Football. Week 2 Thursday night game. Lions at Bills. Week 3 in Brazil. Ravens at Cowboys. Week 9 Bengals at Falcons. Week 12 Eagles at Cowboys. We know in that 3 o'clock window in the Central Time zone for us Cowboy fans, right, Brian?
That's right. That's exactly right.
On Thanksgiving Day. So far, no Steelers. Steelers are still Magic TV, aren't they, Bo?
It's funny. I know the last game with the Ravens, they did really well at the ratings. I actually just wrote a story on, is the rivalry with the Ravens kind of fading? You think about, you almost had 2 decades of Harbaugh and Tomlin, fierce teams, both competing for Super Bowls. The Steelers kind of haven't been that team. The Ravens have been, but they haven't made it with Lamar. I think they are. How can I put it? I think globally they're so well recognized, but I think in terms of are you really that jacked up to watch the Steelers and the Dolphins hypothetically on a Monday night? Probably not. The Steelers are just gonna, it's kind of like the Yankees. They're well traveled, But do you really want to see them play, a crummy Kansas City Royal team? But yeah. I mean, I think they're just in transition. And I think that's why you wouldn't notice them as much as maybe in previous years. No Tomlin. I know that's not part of the process, but I just think this team's in transition between, you got a quarterback in Rodgers who we assume is coming back, who will be on his last year. Again, we assume this. We don't know, but so I just think it doesn't hype you up like a young Bo Nix team, a Justin Herbert led team, a Drake May, Josh Allen. You're just kind of, you're getting the same old, even with Lamar Jackson, you're getting you're getting a younger MVP than an four-time MVP in Rodgers, who's kind of at the end of the cross, at the end of the career. We know where he's going, but I just think that kind of part's in. I did hear that the Steelers are bringing back the Steelerettes. I think they had them before the NFL merger. I think they're in '69. So they're bringing the Steelerettes back. So that should be an interesting thing, seeing cheerleaders at Steeler games.
Wow. That is something. Speaking of '69, saw a great special over the weekend on the merger and on how much that Pete Rozelle and TV brokers and honchos had to get somebody to move from the NFL to the American Football Conference. We know that Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland did. And one of the hooks in it, Rozelle said, I'll give, and he was, Art Modell was kind of working with him, said, I'll give anybody that moves $1 million, and said the Irsays, I think, maybe the Rosenblums owning the Colts at the time, said, done, give me my money, we're gone. And they switched immediately. Had to really cajole, the Browns, got them to with Modell, and Pittsburgh was last. I say all that to say this, that paralleled with hiring Noel, drafting Mean Joe, a few years later, Bradshaw, and then we were off and cooking. Bo, the difference it could have been if the Steelers had been trying to come out of the NFC all of the 70s instead of really just fending off mostly the Raiders and the Dolphins into the Super Bowl coming out of the AFC. In the 70s, if they had been going against Fran Tarkenton and the Vikings and the Cowboys every year, even George Allen's Redskins teams, it could look different. That was a great move by them.
Yeah. I guess, what, though, I think of, the Cowboys were dominant, but they faced them in the Super Bowl. So I think that kind of gave each one of those teams, kind of like back in the 90s when you had the 49ers and the Cowboys playing each other. That was basically your Super Bowl prior to them winning the Super Bowl. And then you think of the Raiders, how good they were under Madden and Don Shula, the Dolphins, even the Chiefs early on with Hank Stram. I don't know if it gets better or worse if they're in either side. Brett, you would know that better than me because you're much more knowledgeable. But I just think of the teams in that window. If they weren't facing the Vikings to get to the Super Bowl, then they had to beat the Raiders to get to the Super Bowl. And you watch the last 30 for 30 about Rozelle and Al Davis. I mean, there is clearly. Madden and Al Davis and those old timers. I mean, their dislike for the Pittsburgh Steelers is deep and it's real. It's not just something they joke about. I mean, they literally dislike them. So, I think again, and the Steelers usually got the best of the Raiders, at that point. So, it's just a different era of football. And you think of, I think the fun part was, they won 4 Super Bowls, in that span of the 70s. But when you think about the dominant teams in the AFC, and then on the flip side, the dominant teams in the NFC side. I don't know. I mean, do you think they would have been better off on the NFC side, or do you think, would you think maybe they win 5, or maybe they win 3, or maybe they win 2 or 1 if they're on another side?
I don't think they win all that they did, but they were going to win.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But that's easy to say and hard to prove. It's just, who knows? But don't discount. I mean, imagine Pittsburgh having to go to Bloomington, Minnesota for an NFC championship game against Bud Grant and the Vikings in those years.
Yeah, and that's when it was outside and cold, and you had to earn it.
And everybody was on the same sideline, both teams. How dumb was that? Kansas City had it that way, and Detroit at Tiger Stadium. They were a couple others that had everybody on one side. I mean, it'd be a brawl now.
I can't imagine that. I didn't know that. I couldn't imagine how that went, especially the antics and the characters of those teams, how they didn't get into altercations or things weren't thrown or
you watched the highlights of the famous Christmas night overtime game between Kansas City and Miami, and when Stenerud makes the field goal, they're right there on top of each other, kind of taunting the Dolphins from the same sideline.
Wow.
Yeah, it'd be a fat lip now.
Yeah, no kidding. It really would. But I've been sitting here thinking about it, and I'm just happy to know that my Thanksgiving, it'll either be the appetizer for my Thanksgiving dinner or what I'm watching while I'm eating my Thanksgiving meal. But I know that's going to be a great thing to watch, and it's going to be a great either appetizer or maybe even a
parade
dessert.
Route out after that game.
I mean, honestly, it's just there's no way that Thanksgiving Day game against the Eagles can ruin my Thanksgiving. It's going to be beautiful.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a lot of faith and being thankful for a win there.
Well, I'm very thankful for it. I'm already predicting it and being thankful.
Faith is real easy in May, Bo. Real easy to be faithful and confident in May.
Yeah. I'm glad you're excited.
We'll be here for him, won't we, Landon?
Those stinking Eagles. Can't stand them.
I think so.
Yeah.
4 big shoulders, Bo vicariously. We'll be here.
I hope so.
Yeah. That's the fun, folks. If we text them amongst ourselves periodically, and during the season, we always kind of make sure that our man Bryant is, he's live and well after some of the ups and downs he has to deal with the Cowboys. I'll text Brad, hey, did you check on him? Landon, did you check on him? Is our guy okay?
Yeah, I need it sometimes. But not this year, because it's going to be a great year for the Dallas Cowboys. But, Bo, we'll have a lot more news. We'll have the entire schedule in front of us next week. More news around the league when we talk again. As always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
No problem. Stay blessed, guys.
Love you, Bo. Thank you, man.
Bo Marchant joining us. Always a blast to talk with him. And even in the dead of the offseason, there is still plenty to talk about around the NFL.
Brian, I swear, if I could go back as media member, writer, journalist, whatever, covering teams, the first thing I would love to do is put me on those trains and let me cover the Gas House game.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first thing. Mm-hmm. The second, maybe that late 60s, early 70s merger of where, the terminology Super Bowl era came from, of what Rozelle was doing, and Bud Adams and Lamar Hunt and Al Davis and Art Modell and the Rosenblums. That was colorful times for the NFL, and it made it the behemoth that it is.
No, it definitely did. So, I'm excited. I know you're going to have us covered for the schedules later this week. I know you're going to keep us all updated. But next week when we talk with Bo, we'll have plenty to discuss when it comes to more scheduling news.
College football, let me cover the Service Academy teams in the 40s.
Ooh, I like that. It's creative. It's kind of thinking outside of the box. I like that a lot. I did not think you were going to go with that, but that is really, really good. Well, again, we're out early this afternoon. Ole Miss baseball, their final midweek game of the regular season, starting at 6 o'clock tonight. But we're going to get you out there for the pregame show starting at 5:30.
They're playing. Usually this gets scratched because of one cloud in the sky.
First off, so a little surprised they're playing. Second off, surprised that we're already to the final week of the regular season in college baseball. It feels like it just started yesterday. So it is wild how time flies by, but should be a lot of fun. Tonight we'll have complete coverage of the game, so we're going to get out of here a little bit early. But before we do that, let me remind you about Crunch Time, brought to you by Moe's every single afternoon. I know you heard the little ad before we got it started, but it's brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need a crunchy bite to eat? Head to Moe's for nachos, crunch wraps, tacos, salads, and more. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies. But today, on Tuesday, it is brought to you as well by Humdinger's Taco Tuesday. Enjoy crunchy slaw, grilled fish and chicken, and the best taco sauce in town. $2 tacos all day. It is by far the best deal in town. So let's go ahead and get Humdinger's Crunch Time.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This game has always been called the world's greatest cocktail party. Do you know what is going to happen here tonight?
This is for all the biggest Crunch Time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Crunch time between the hedges.
The ball game is over, and Memphis has its first win in 16 tries. Its first win ever against its fierce in-state rival Tennessee.
Goodbye! It's obviously Crunch Time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Well, what I learned today is that the NBA Combine is going on right now up in Chicago. A lot of testing today, the individual drills tomorrow. We'll get the scrimmages. We know none of the top guys are participating in the scrimmage, but for the Grizzlies, it's still a lot to watch in these scrimmages. You have that 16th pick. It'll kind of be up in the air of if some of those guys around 16 are playing or are scrimmaging tomorrow or not, but certainly that 32nd pick that you have, a lot of the guys that will be available at that point will be participating tomorrow in those scrimmages. But my biggest takeaway over these last couple of days have been the quotes from some of these guys. I mean, the guys at the top of this draft, the confidence they have, the confidence in their abilities that they have. Yesterday, the quote from Cam Boozer that came out, quote, whether I go 1, 2, or 3, or whatever the case may be, I think winning and what I bring to the team, my resume, it speaks for itself. If a team wants to hang a banner in the rafters, I'm definitely the guy. Then today on ESPN2, Caleb Wilson on what he will bring to a team, quote, I will change your franchise, your culture, your program, your city. I did that at North Carolina. So some really strong comments from two of the guys that should be available there at the number 3 pick for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, Brian, I'm learning right now, and our friend Matt Infield at Action News 5 doing a great job reporting live from that scene and tweeting when he's not on camera reporting of the mourning and the sadness that a lot of Grizzlies fans and basketball fans in our area are feeling about Brandon Clark, and already people down with flowers and jerseys and things like that. And I think that is really nice of people, and if that would help you get through this as a fan, then for sure do it, because we know what Memphis is about, and it's not about the criticism that is taken lately, and no matter where it happened, it's still overwhelmingly sad.
No, it absolutely is, and that's why I could have done without today, that news coming out. It sounds like L.A. is where it happened with Brandon Clark, as he has passed away at the age of 29. And you're now seeing, as the day has progressed, just the love that the fan base, that the city had for Brandon Clark and what he meant to a lot of people. It's been, it's one of those things where it's a horrific day. It's just an absolute, just devastating day,
worst day in history
for the team
franchise.
and for the city. It is, but the other side of it is hearing these stories from people and seeing really what these guys mean to the city. Pete Pranica earlier today tweeting, I have had a hard time wrapping my mind around today's news that Brandon Clark is gone. He was one of my favorite Grizzlies, not just because of the pogo stick putbacks and crazy athleticism, but because he played the game with such incredible joy. He loved the Grizzlies and Grizzlies fans who loved him back equally. His bright spirit will never be forgotten, and he leaves behind a legion of fans whose hearts are breaking right now.
Pete's a good one. Pete is a good soul.
He absolutely is. So just devastating news today, and really everything that's gone on today has just been really hard to take in.
Yeah. Where are we? You know where we are. I'm sorry.
What you could have done without today.
Okay. Austin Reeves is a big piece with the Lakers. They need bigger pieces with him. I don't think his shot is that great. It's not bad. It's really good, but his defense is deplorable. And his handle in the 70s headband freaks me out.
Well, yes, it is. It's certainly different, but yeah, it's going to be a really important offseason. It feels like a really busy offseason for the Los Angeles Lakers. They're at a crossroad, and we're going to see how they come out of it, which direction they go going into next season. Where are you beaming tonight?
Late night for homeless A's at home in Sacramento versus the Cardinals. Andre Palante versus Jeffrey Springs. If the playoffs started today, the A's would be the 2 seed in the AL, and the Cardinals would be the 6 seed and in the playoffs.
That is weird. Yeah, you look at some of the standings around there and some of what the playoffs would look like today. It is
May 12th.
Very weird, very early, and
May 12th.
Very weird. Yeah, I don't know if I want to latch on to anything on May 12th in Major League Baseball. But being me, Sabres, Canadians tonight, a little hockey action. Canadians been fun. Sabres been really good.
Must win for my Sabres.
It's a big one tonight. So some really good action. We've got the one game in the NBA. Timberwolves and Spurs, 2 hockey games. A lot of Major League Baseball.
All 30 teams going in baseball.
That's right. So it's going to be a fun night around Major League Baseball. You've also got a lot of college baseball tonight, as well as we're to the final week of the regular season. And again, we're going to get you over to Ole Miss baseball pregame tonight for that game that starts at 6 o'clock against UT Martin. So that's all the time we have. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification.